What is up, guys? It is Special Sky here, and today I'm going to be talking about a new game I've started making. I've really wanted to take a crack at coding and designing certain aspects of 2D pixel games recently, and I'm glad I could finally get around to starting a project. So without further ado, let's get into Devlog 0 of my new game, Clockstrike. Okay, so originally the idea for the game of Clockstrike stemmed from some prompts I got from doing a little mini college game jam that we never actually ended up doing, but I made a completely different game concept for that I didn't end up making because other parts of the course took the mainland spotlight because they were actually for our grade. So I took those prompts and started jotting down ideas and started drawing up stuff in Sprite. Sadly, that was all on my old computer, so I didn't actually retain any of the files because when I moved all my files over, some of them got deleted, and that seemed to have been most of my Sprite and Notepad ones, which absolutely sucks. And yeah, two of these prompts were the mechanic prompt and the genre prompt. For the genre, I had adventure, and the mechanic, mine was supposed to be about time. So that really put me in like a chokehold during the game jam, but I wrote down so many ideas for it, and I looked back over them because I wanted to start really getting into 2D pixel art and like proper programming of games, so this project really was just a godsend. That godsend being throughout my own brain. So yeah, I looked back through these on my notepads a couple months ago, and I came up with the idea of Clockstrike, and I decided that I would have it based in gamemaker, and it be a little RPG game. So that's all I got for a couple months, and then I started this week. I decided to cut my summer up into multiple weeks to learn and practice different things for college and just go out throughout my hobbies at different weeks. So for this first week, I decided to do Clockstrike. And I'm honestly so glad I chose my first week to be Clockstrike because I've been so pumped like the whole week and so motivated to do it because honestly I'm loving it. So to start out, I watched a tutorial on how to actually use gamemaker and how to actually start the makings of an RPG game in gamemaker. Now I found this series by Peyton Burnham on YouTube. Link to the account will be on this description because honestly this guy is amazing. If you want to learn how to use gamemaker and make games in gamemaker, honestly follow this guy's tutorials and subscribe to him because he is genuinely amazing. So yeah, I ended up making the first 3 rooms based on how his tutorials. I parallaxed the backgrounds, I did everything I needed to, but then I decided, hold on a minute, this looks exactly like the tutorial. So what was I going to do? Well, I just decided to start changing up things. Like in the bedroom, I made the tiles with a broken bed on one side, just to give it the more aesthetic that I wanted the game to have when the player came to this part of the game. And then in the outside, I kept the trees, and really I kept it all the same because I'd had a different colour scheme than the guy in the tutorial. But I added in a bridge as well because I wanted the player to be able to go over the frozen river, as I'm calling it so far. So yeah, I really wanted to be able to access more parts of each room, really, to an extent. Like, I didn't change the bedroom or living room's layouts because I did like them, and to be honest, with the objects like the dressers / chest of drawers, that's what I like to call them, I'd already had different designs for them, so it wasn't really that much of a problem because one had a lamp on it and they didn't look exactly the same as the tutorial, so that was really fine for me. Then I moved on to actually deciding the theme and what genre it would be, but it would be like based in my sense, so I called it an RPG Metroidvania Choose Your Own Adventure mix, because it's going to be a role-playing game with dialogue and decisions being made influencing the narrative of the game, but it also has vast amounts of abilities and weapons to be discovered, used, as well as an immense amount of battles to be fought That's the kind of Metroidvania kind of part of it, and then the player also makes choices which then takes them down a specific chosen route, which gives the game more replayability, which is one of the main parts of the game, the fact you can replay it. And I'm sure, as some of you could tell, probably by how I've been talking or what I've shown in the video so far, the game takes much inspiration from Telltale, choose your own story games, Undertale and Deltarune, just because it's a choose your own story pixel art game. So yeah. Once that was out of the way, I spent a couple hours, maybe 3 or 4, actually blocking out some of the story for the game. Now, I won't show you any of that because I don't want to ruin it, but the core essence of the story is that the main character lost their party in a boss fight and must regain their strength to find said party and return to the adventure at hand. The adventure being decided by the player's actions. There are many different adventures the party could have been on, but the decisions the player makes will base what their character's life is and kind of what kind of person they are. So basically, if the player chooses to be an absolutely horrible person in the game, then the original party's main motive and adventure that they were going on would have been to probably slaughter innocent people, and then that boss at the start was actually like a good guy. So it kind of changes the story based on what kind of, character, what kind of person you make your character become. Then I went on to actually making another path left of the third room, which was the outside, which I decided to make a little forest path with, again, a parallax background. So that was pretty good, that was pretty easy, and then left of that again, I made a little cave with an opening, kind of like a little cave opening area, which was just as big as the bedroom, so the player couldn't move the camera around, so it was just, that is all you got. And just a little sneak peek, the player actually comes out of that cave to then go into the outside, so the player won't actually start in the bedroom when the final game is out. And then finally, all I did was start creating some concepts for the characters, which I based off of these 16x16 and 16x32 kind of framework characters, like pixel art characters that I found from an asset from somebody. I don't actually remember what their name was, but I will link in the description their page and where I found the asset, because honestly they are amazing. They did say you could use it as a free asset, but I didn't want it to look completely like it, but I did again use the asset because it was free, so yeah. And they didn't ask for credit, but I really wanted to put it in there because they are so amazing. So go check that out if you want to pixel art characters, because I'm terrible at doing the base outline, so that's what I used it for. And then I moved on to concepting some of the Clockstrike weapons, which 11 out of the 12 ones I did make were again based off of assets that were free. The guy again didn't want crediting, but I will put his name, their name in the description, because honestly they are like so amazing. But this time I didn't actually download any assets, I coordinated, like hand-eye coordinate, drew it by how it looked. So yeah, because I didn't want to download any assets, and that won't be the final look for it, so I didn't want to download anything and not, that I wouldn't actually use in the end. So those were just baselines for it. And then the actual last, the 12th one, which is the giant fist with spikes on it, I eyeballed the Terraria lava fists and kind of just changed up the style of that. So yeah. Just quickly going back to the concept characters that I made, I'm probably going to use the 16x32 ones, because I like how that they can have much more detail, and I feel like that would be better for expressions and stuff. But I do like the 16x16 ones because I feel like they're like cute little guys, like just cute little versions of each character. So I might add them into like different parts of the game. So I hope that I can add them in as well. But yeah, thank you all for watching Devlog 00 of Clockstrike, and I hope to see you all next time. Goodbye.